này?
Châu lán gì kiện lắc châu luôn.
Đây là cô. Hay gì lạnh là mày là cô.
Chúng làm đất này. Ông muốn hầu đánh cái Zhuang làm lại bên.
On July 6, 2026, southern China faced one of its most dangerous flood emergencies of the year after days of relentless rainfall fueled by Typhoon Matsa. Rivers overflowed, entire communities were inundated, and emergency officials raced against time as floodwaters continued rising across the Guangxi Zhuang autonomous region. The situation became dramatically worse when part of a dam embankment failed, releasing a powerful surge of water downstream and forcing authorities to activate the region's highest emergency response. Within hours, thousands of residents were placed on evacuation alerts as rescue teams rushed into flood-affected communities. For many families, there was almost no warning. Roads disappeared beneath muddy water. Vehicles became trapped. Power outages spread across several towns. Communication networks became increasingly unreliable as emergency crews worked to reach isolated communities before conditions deteriorated even further. According to local authorities, continuous rainfall had pushed dozens of rivers beyond their warning levels. Hydrological monitoring stations recorded rapidly rising water levels throughout the region, while weather forecasters warned that additional heavy rain was still approaching. The emergency quickly expanded beyond a single location. Floodwaters spread across multiple cities, submerging streets, farmland, and residential neighborhoods. In several districts, schools suspended classes while public buildings were converted into temporary shelters for evacuated residents. Officials confirmed that a section of the dam's embankment collapsed late Monday morning after intense pressure from the rising reservoir. Water immediately rushed through the damaged section, sending powerful currents toward downstream villages. Emergency officials wasted no time. Warning sirens sounded across nearby communities as evacuation orders were issued for residents living in low-lying areas. Police officers, firefighters, and emergency volunteers moved door to door, helping elderly residents, children, and families leave before floodwaters reached dangerous levels. Some residents managed to leave using their own vehicles. Others had no choice but to wait for rescue boats after roads became completely submerged. Fortunately, early evacuation efforts helped reduce the immediate risk to human life, although hundreds of people were temporarily stranded as floodwaters cut off access routes. Meanwhile, rescue teams continued monitoring the damaged dam around the clock. Engineers carefully inspected the remaining sections of the embankment to determine whether additional failures could occur. Every hour brought new challenges as heavy rain continued falling across the region. Elsewhere in Guangxi, the flooding intensified. Entire streets disappeared beneath brown floodwater. Cars were partially submerged. Small businesses were forced to close. In several neighborhoods, water entered homes so quickly that residents had only minutes to move valuable belongings to higher floors before escaping. Emergency crews deployed inflatable rescue boats through residential streets that had transformed into fast-moving waterways. In some locations, rescue workers carried children and elderly residents through chest-deep floodwater while volunteers distributed drinking water, food supplies, blankets, and emergency medical assistance. Meteorologists explained that although Typhoon Matsa had weakened after making landfall, it continued pulling enormous amounts of tropical moisture inland. Instead of bringing strong winds alone, the system produced continuous rainfall that overwhelmed rivers, reservoirs, and urban drainage systems. This type of prolonged rainfall is often more dangerous than the storm itself. When the ground becomes completely saturated, additional rain has nowhere to go. Water rapidly flows into rivers, reservoirs, and populated areas, dramatically increasing the risk of flash floods, landslides, and dam failures. Authorities urged residents to avoid flooded roads under any circumstances. Even shallow-looking floodwater can hide washed-out pavement, open drainage channels, or powerful currents capable of sweeping away vehicles within seconds. Search and rescue operations continued throughout the day as emergency helicopters surveyed flooded districts from above while ground teams searched isolated communities for anyone still needing assistance. At the same time, government agencies coordinated relief efforts by delivering emergency supplies, portable generators, clean drinking water, and temporary shelter materials to evacuation centers across the affected region. Officials also warned that the danger had not yet passed. Weather forecasts indicated that additional heavy rainfall could continue over the next 24 to 48 hours, keeping rivers at critically high levels and increasing the possibility of further flooding. Residents living near rivers, reservoirs, and mountain valleys were instructed to remain alert and follow all evacuation notices immediately if conditions worsened. As emergency crews worked tirelessly to protect lives and stabilize damaged infrastructure. Communities across southern China prepared for another difficult night. For many families, the priority was no longer protecting property. It was simply staying safe until the floodwaters finally began to recede. Natural disasters like this serve as a reminder of how quickly extreme weather can change everyday life. Within just a few hours, ordinary neighborhoods became disaster zones, forcing thousands of people to leave everything behind. While rescue efforts continue and authorities closely monitor weather conditions, officials remain focused on one mission above all else: protecting lives and helping affected communities recover from one of the region's most significant flood emergencies of the year. If you enjoyed this report, subscribe to Stormfront Live for more breaking updates on extreme weather, natural disasters, and major events from around the world. Stay informed, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next report.